Hey, if you want to know why your erections are different from day to day, sometimes it's good and other times it's not, well, today what I'm going to do is break down the biggest lie that's ever been told in human history and how that affects your erections. And hey, my name is Brian, aka Uncle B, and I've been the sexual performance coach with African Fly for the past 20 years. And I get this question all the time. It's like, hey man, I've been doing everything correctly, no stress, I've been getting my sleep in, I've been doing the exercises, but my erections, they just leave sometimes. Well, what I'm going to do is break down why that is, specifically how what you eat directly affects your erections and how and why and everything else. And as a bonus, I'm going to give you some steps on how to correct this issue. So as always, if you like what you hear, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the like bell, hit the notification button. And what I'm going to do is break this down till it cannot be broken anymore. Okay, I want to tell you a quick story. It's about a young man out of Germany. We're talking about he was a child at this time in the car with his family. Bam, car accident. His father and his sister dies. And of course, as a young kid growing up with that level of trauma, he dreamed about being so strong that if anyone else is in an accident, he could go over there and, help them out. And he fulfilled his dream. He became one of the strongest men on the planet. His name is Patrick Baboumian. And what he did as a strong man feat, he actually took a yoke. He basically put something on his shoulders and he carried over 1,200 pounds for 30 feet. Okay, that's basically like carrying a horse from the grocery store to the car. That's pretty strong. But the crazy thing is, he's plant-based. His diet is pure plants. He doesn't eat cow's milk. He doesn't drink the cow's milk. He doesn't eat eggs. He doesn't eat meat at all. But we've always heard in order for you to be strong, have strong bones and things like that, you have to eat meat. And why is that? Where did it even come from? Well, here's where the biggest lie in history came from. It came from Justin von Liebig. He's a German chemist, and he hypothesized that in order for you to be strong and have more energy, you need to eat meat. And if you were a vegetarian, you were incapable of prolonged exercise. But you have to ask the question, well, why would he do that? Well, it sort of helped out his company, the Liebig, well, I like to call it Liebig, because that's what his name actually spells out, Liebig Meat Extraction Company. They set up camp, started selling this worldwide, made it even cheap so that even poor people can get to meat. And that's how the whole world just started getting addicted to it. In fact, the USDA's first recommendation in terms of protein came from his studies, which were later debunked because that is not true. The hardworking muscles of your body get their energy primarily from the carbohydrates from plants. And of course, if you're eating an animal, you're just getting the plant through the animal. Now, I found out about this through a movie that I highly recommend called Game Changers. It is executive produced by Arnold Schwarzenegger, Chris Paul, Jackie Chan, James Cameron. Great movie, a lot of information, but I would just want to break down some of the things I learned from that. And though it just does talk about not eating meat in this movie, I'm just letting you know. Just like you, I'm a meat lover. I love meat, but meat does not love me. I eat meat, I get knee pains. And of course, there's a whole bunch of other problems that show up. But for me, that's the one thing. So just as I've said before in some of the other videos that I've put out talking about meat, let's get rid of the myths up front. You're not a carnivore or omnivore. Carnivores and omnivores eat meat raw. You can't do that. All proteins come from plants, and plants have all the essential amino acids that humans need in varying proportions. And also, our ancestors had a plant-based diet. That whole myth of the hunter-gatherer, that never made any sense to me, but what they found out was that back in the 1930s, when they were doing the archaeological digs, and they discovered human remains and sharp stones. They're like, oh yeah, they were using the sharp stones so they could kill animals. No, those were gardening tools. They were primarily, the only reason why you would have to go look for something is if there were not enough plants to eat, because plants are all over the planet. As long as you can tell what the vegetation is and you can eat it, you can survive damn near anywhere on the planet. Animals are hard to kill and gut and skin and break down and eat. You can't do that every day without wearing yourself silly. Now, one of the experiments they did in there, they actually showed how eating meat clouds your blood. And so, they put the blood through a centrifuge. And if you ate a meat-based diet, your blood would be cloudy. If you ate a plant-based diet, your blood plasma would be clear. And this goes for all meats. It doesn't matter if it flies, swims, runs. If it's moving and you kill it, then yeah, that's the meat that you shouldn't be eating. So this animal fat will stay in your body for 6 to 7 hours, which is important to remember because you're like, oh, I ate something, but it was like a long time ago before we wanted to have sex, but I couldn't get an erection. That's because it's still in your system. It is important to remember that a single animal-based meal can decrease blood flow by 29%. And it's going to increase inflammation throughout your body by 70%. Just one meal. And also, when it comes to cow's milk can increase your estrogen by 26% and decrease your testosterone levels by 18% within 1 hour. And plants actually reduce inflammation and has 64 times more antioxidants than a animal-based meal. Now, this is something that's very important to understand. When on a plant-based diet, when you go to sleep, you have 5 erections a night. That's the average. When you on a plant-based diet, your erection time increases by 300%. So you're actually lasting in your sleep a lot longer with your erections, which is great blood flow, helping out with your body. It also increases the hardness of your erections by 8% while you're asleep. Those are good things to have. And switching to a plant-based diet will actually decrease your inflammations by 29% in just 3 weeks. So here's the bonus. What can you do so you can move away from eating so many animals to eating plants without it being stressful? Well, one of the first things is psychological. Just remember the pain. For me, I have knee pain. I have another friend who has lupus. There's pain there. If you can remember how painful it was, like when I had carpal tunnel, painful. When I stopped eating the meat, all that stuff cleared out. Whenever I go back to eat meat, I just remember the pain, and it's sort of like, yeah, you really don't want to go through that again. Walk away from crazy. I say this all the time. Don't run away because crazy will chase you. Walk away. So you have to come up with a plan. So, start thinking about the different restaurants that are near you. Start looking at different menus. Go into the stores. Stores are having more and more plant-based foods that you can start substituting, and then you can start moving to more of a whole plant-based diet, which is, you're just eating the plant as close to its original form as possible. Also, you have to re-educate yourself. You've been educated with this lie, you have to re-educate yourself with the truth. So there are movies out there like Forks Over Knives, of course, Game Changers, check that out, and What the Health. Those are some 3 great movies with a lot of information. And of course, it's always helpful to find someone to do it with. My friend who has lupus, once I informed him that lupus can't be cured on a plant-based diet, he immediately went to it. And just so you know, this applies to a lot of other things, hypertension, diabetes, et cetera, et cetera. Check out Game Changers. They mention it in there. So in conclusion, your erections can leave based on that meat that you ate 6 to 7 hours ago. And of course, if you're older, that can last longer. A plant-based diet can increase your hardness and your staying power while you're both awake and asleep. An animal-based diet will decrease your blood flow and increase inflammations, which are horrible for your erections. I know I'm running a little bit long for you guys, but I got to get this rant in. We've been lied to. That's the truth of it. And we've been lied to, and we see our parents have gone through issues. We see our friends and ourselves going through issues because we've been told that we're supposed to eat meat. It's not true. I understand, some people, oh, it's hard to get off of it. I get it. But for the next generation coming up, we've proven that this experiment doesn't work. We've gone through all of human history, every generation being able to live longer and live longer and live longer. And then we hit this generation of kids coming up. This is the first generation. They won't reach your age. That's crazy. So we have to make these changes in our generation for the kids. So, if you want to save the planet, have better erections. Eat plants. So question of the day. Have you noticed a time when you've eaten a meat-based diet and then you couldn't get the erection that you wanted? Let us know down in the comments below. Please share. We need to learn from each other. And as always, hit the like button, hit the notification bell, hit the subscribe button. I want to get some more information out to you. So of course, check out the other videos around here. And as always, get your game up. This is Uncle B saying peace out.